The history of Saudi Arabia. The history of Saudi Arabia begins with the oldest civilizations on the Arabian Peninsula. The peninsula has had a significant impact on history throughout the ages as a former center of trade and as the birthplace of Islam, one of the world's two major monotheistic religions. Its metamorphosis has been astounding since the present Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was founded in 1932 by King Abdulaziz Al Saud. The kingdom has transformed from a desolate country to a modern, sophisticated state and a significant player on the international stage in just a few short decades. Ancient history. The Arabian Peninsula has been home to humans for 15,000 to 20,000 years, according to the earliest known physical evidence. Hunter-gatherer tribes roamed the countryside, subsisting on flora and fauna. The environment on the peninsula dried out as the European ice sheet disappeared during the last ice age about 15,000 years ago. Wild creatures disappeared, and vast expanses that were formerly covered in lush meadows changed place to scrubland and deserts. River systems also vanished, leaving the peninsula's present-day dry river beds, wadis, in their aftermath. Humans were compelled by this climate change to relocate into the verdant mountain valleys and oases. They had to find a new way to survive since they could no longer hunt and gather. As a result, agriculture flourished throughout the Middle East, starting in Mesopotamia and moving on to the Nile River Valley. Other advancements were made as agriculture developed. Farmers could stockpile food thanks to pottery. Domestication of animals such as goats, cattle, sheep, horses, and camels led to a complete renunciation of hunting. These developments allowed for intensive cultivation. As a result, settlements developed into more substantial ones and laid the groundwork for what we now refer to as civilization, including language, writing, governmental structures, art, and architecture. An ancient commercial hub. The Arabian Peninsula served as the hub of the ancient world because it was situated halfway between Mesopotamia and the Nile River Valley, the two major centers of civilization. Caravan routes became commerce arteries that made life possible on the sparsely populated peninsula, and trade was essential to the region's growth. To deliver agricultural products that were in high demand in Mesopotamia, the Nile Valley, and the Mediterranean basin, the people of the peninsula created a sophisticated network of trading routes. These products included tafe almonds, dates from the numerous oases, and aromatics from the Tahama plain like frankincense and myrrh. Spices were significant trade goods as well. They were conveyed by caravan after being shipped from India across the Arabian Sea. The massive caravans arrived at the major centers of the north and west after traveling from what is now Oman and Yemen through the important trade routes passing through Saudi Arabia's Asir province, Makkah, and Medina. The political unrest in Mesopotamia, the Nile Valley, and the eastern Mediterranean had little effect on the people of the Arabian Peninsula. Whether Babylon, Egypt, Persia, Greece, or Rome were in power at the time, their products and services were in high demand. In addition, the vast desert area of the peninsula served as a natural defense against invasion by strong neighbors. The advent of Islam. Muhammad, who was born in the booming commercial hub of Makkah, received a word from God, also known as Allah, for the Angel Gabriel about the year 610. The Prophet Muhammad's followers grew as fresh revelations urged him to declare the unity of God to all people. The Prophet led his people to Yathrib, which was later renamed Madinat al-Nabi, City of the Prophet, and is today simply known as Medina, in 622 after becoming aware of a conspiracy to kill him. The Islamic calendar began with the Hijra, often known as the Exodus. The Muslims and the Meccan pagans engaged in multiple conflicts throughout the following few years. The Prophet successfully brought the tribes together by 628 when Medina was wholly under Muslim control, and he and his entourage returned to Makkah without incident. The Empire of Islam. Less than a century after the advent of Islam, the Islamic Empire reached portions of India and China from Spain. Trade was booming in the Arabian Peninsula even though the governmental centers of power had left the region. Additionally, a considerable number of pilgrims started coming to the peninsula regularly, some of whom settled in the two holy towns of Makkah and Medina. These pilgrims promoted cultural and intellectual contact between the inhabitants of the peninsula and other Arab and Muslim civilizations. Another significant influence in the cultural development of the Arabian Peninsula was the establishment of Arabic as the language of international learning. During the so-called Golden Age, the Muslim world rose to prominence as a hub for knowledge and scientific advancement. Muslim scholars made significant contributions to a wide range of disciplines, including biology, astronomy, philosophy, medicine, the arts, and literature. Many of the concepts and techniques developed by Muslim thinkers later served as the basis for modern sciences, Up to its dissolution into smaller Muslim countries in the 17th century, the Islamic Empire flourished. The Arabian Peninsula eventually descended into relative isolation, even though Makkah and Medina continued to serve as the spiritual centers of the Islamic world and draw visitors from a wide range of nations. Saudi Arabia's first state. Early in the 18th century, Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Wahhab, a Muslim reformer and scholar, started promoting a return to the original form of Islam. Local religious authorities and professors originally targeted Abdul Wahhab because they believed that his teachings threatened their bases of influence. In the city of Diriyah, which was governed by Mohammed bin Saud, he looked for safety. Mohammed bin Saud and Mohammed bin Abdul Wahhab made a pact to commit themselves to bring back to the Muslim people the original teachings of Islam. As a result, in 1727, Ibn Saud founded the first Saudi state, which flourished under the spiritual leadership of bin Abdul Wahhab, also referred to as the Sheikh. The Ottoman Empire, the preeminent force in the Middle East and North Africa at the time, was suspicious of the Al Saud king's popularity and prosperity. The Ottoman Empire sent a sizable expeditionary army equipped with contemporary cannons to Western Arabia in 1818. The city of Diriyah, which by this point had become one of the largest on the peninsula, was under siege by the Ottoman army. By destroying the wells and uprooting the date palms, Ottoman forces destroyed the city with field cannons and rendered it unusable for all time. Saudi Arabia's second state. The Al Saud family had retaken governmental power in Central Arabia by 1824. The second Saudi state was founded by Saudi King Turki bin Abdullah Al Saud in Riyadh, about 20 miles south of Diriyah. Turki was successful in regaining the majority of the regions the Ottomans had lost during his 11-year tenure. As he extended his sway, he took measures to guarantee that his subjects had rights and cared for their welfare. The second Saudi state saw peace and prosperity under Turki and his son Faisal, and trade and agriculture prospered. A fresh Ottoman attempt to expand its Middle Eastern empire onto the Arabian Peninsula ruptured the peace in 1865. Parts of the Saudi state, which at the time was commanded by Abdul Rahman, Faisal's son, were taken by Ottoman forces. The Al-Rashid family of Hale made a deliberate effort to topple the Saudi state with the assistance of the Ottomans. Abdul Rahman bin Faisal Al Saud was forced to give up his fight in 1891 and after coming up against a considerably larger and better armed army. In the immense sand desert of eastern Arabia known as the Rub al-Khali or Empty Quarter, he sought safety with the Bedouin tribes. Abdul Rahman then relocated to Kuwait with his family, where they remained until 1902. He was accompanied by his young son Abdulaziz, who was already establishing himself as a natural leader and ferocious fighter for Islam. Saudi Arabia in the modern era. The Al-Rashid dynasty had seized control of Riyadh and installed a governor and army there, and the young Abdulaziz was determined to reclaim his patrimony from them. With only 40 supporters, Abdulaziz led a daring night march into Riyadh in 1902 to seize the Mazmak fortress, the city's garrison. The establishment of the contemporary Saudi state began with this fabled incident. From 1924 to 1925, Abdulaziz conquered the whole of Hijaz, including Makkah and Medina, after establishing Riyadh as his capital. He accomplished this by fusing rival tribes into a single nation. This is the end of this video. You feel it nice? Make sure to give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.